Good morning, everybody. It is today's edition of Profit in Your PJs with yours truly, Anna Camp. And I'm real excited. We're right now in this holiday season. It is Tuesday morning, December 5th. And we've got some great training today for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and just pop us onto the Profit in our PJ screen, because it just wouldn't be the same if we didn't have that fun graphic up there. And one of the greatest things about this business is just that we can work from anywhere. And I was getting teased before the recording started about what I might be wearing on the lower half. And no, it's not my Hello Kitty pajamas. I'm actually dressed and up early this morning. So welcome, everybody. It is just that time of year when people are doing shopping. And I love that if you walk into any department store, I used to hear Jeff Olson say this when I first got started, if you walk into any department store, what is the most expensive real estate? It is that bottom floor. And what is happening on that bottom floor? On that bottom floor, we are seeing beauty. It's really when you come in 3 doors of any lower floor of a department store, you'll see beauty. In that space of beauty, the hottest part or hottest segment is, of course, anti-aging. So we sit in an incredible space. And right now, people are buying gifts. People are out shopping. And why not give them the gift of Nerium? So today we're going to get started kind of quick here because we got a lot of content to go over. And first things first, really want to talk about gratitude. And even more than that is appreciation, really kind of another form of the word gratitude, to be appreciative. And this was such a great quote I saw. Stress is the gap between our expectation and our reality. The bigger the gap, the more stress. So expect nothing and appreciate everything. And I think those are great words to live by. I think we will really, when we live more in gratitude and appreciation, I think that's the way to go. It's a lot less stress on us. I love this picture here too, because it's such a serene background. So really just a reminder to live every single day in appreciation and gratitude for what we have, and in appreciation for what we don't have yet, because gratitude is the precursor to having everything that we want. So when we live in gratitude for something that we don't have yet, we can manifest it a heck of a lot faster than when we're obsessing over it. So that's part of Joe Dispenza's work, and I, as you guys know, just absolutely love him. Okay, so a couple quick announcements to go over here real quick. I'm gonna move that out of my way. So Epic, we all know that our Epic Bash, we're looking out into the future here, is a couple of months away. So this is February 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, and the task force is already getting together the content. It is going to be an amazing weekend. So number one, put that on your calendars, but you're going to hear me talking about this now from time to time, because we do need volunteers, and we need a lot of them. It's a big undertaking. And if you were there last year, so many people that came last year said, oh my gosh, I wish I would have had more people here. I wish I would have come. I wish, so-and-so would have come. And we can all think of those people that we wish could have been at the last national conference, for example, or the last regional, or the last event that we went to that was amazing. And quickly, speaking of events, if you're in the Southern California area, we are having our regional this Saturday. It is going to be an absolute blast. Get ready for some super good fun. We are wearing ugly sweaters. Yes, ugly sweaters. And actually, if you don't have one, they're pretty cheap. I just bought one for $12. And so we'll all be sporting our ugly sweaters. But just to wrap this part up and go back to the Epic Bash, please put this on your calendars. And you can register at epiclifestylegroup.com. Once you register, it is, you want to make sure everybody on your team gets there as well. And if you want to volunteer or know anyone that might want to volunteer, the volunteers are not going to be volunteering all day, every day, but segments of the day so that they can participate in the events as well. So you want to email epiclifestylegroup1@gmail.com if you want to volunteer or know anyone that does. I know it's early, but we do need help. So many hands make work light. So we are in our second week of a 7-part series about the 7 skills. And these are the 7 skills that you need to have in your network marketing business, and actually really in any business that you have, because if you look at a traditional business, we do a lot of these same things in our traditional businesses. And last week we talked about finding prospects, right? Building a list. And we talked about the 5 non-negotiables on Facebook, right? We talked about Instagram. We talked about LinkedIn, how to find prospects through some of these social media channels. We talked about getting out of the house, right? Getting out of the house and meeting new people. It's really, really important, even though we're high tech and you can talk to people through Facebook, through Messenger, you can comment, like their posts, you can build relationships with people you don't know through Facebook. You also want to get out and be face-to-face, especially right now. People are out. Everything is a buzz everywhere you go. People are out shopping, and just there's people really literally everywhere. Networking groups, we talked about those, how great those are, from Chamber of Commerce. We talked about BNI, we talked about LaTip, we talked about all kinds of different ways that you could network through groups. And I've been talking to a lot of you guys on the phone throughout the week. I do a lot of individual coaching, and I talk to the team all the time, all day long. It seems like I'm talking to the team or my own personal prospects, and I find that people are saying, gosh, I just kind of feel stale. I just kind of, not sure what to do. I'm kind of just don't have the same energy as I had. And the thing that works for me the most is getting around people, because really inherently we are people. And so we're going to talk about in the inviting process. But of course, this is the most important part, right? Who are you going to talk to if you don't have prospects? We talked a lot about that last week. So if you didn't have a chance to see last week's first part on this series, go back to my YouTube channel, On a Camp, and you can see it there. You might want to just subscribe, because then if you happen to miss any one of these, we record every single week and put them up. So we know people are sometimes at work. So we're looking for who? Positive. We're looking for exciting people. We're looking for people that are open. We're looking for people that are curious. We're looking for people that are entrepreneurial, right? I used to, when I first got started here at Nerium, I used to go around and I'd say to people, I'd say, hey, can I ask you a question? That's always my lead-in line all the time. Or you guys know my other lead-in line is, oh my gosh, one of those two is a lead-in, but I'll say, can I ask you a question? And I would interview people and say, hey, did you ever sell Girl Scout cookies? Did you ever have a paper route? Did you ever have, did you ever have a lemonade stand? Anything like that, because I'm looking for people that are entrepreneurial. And a lot of us as kids did that. And I find that people that did that when they were younger, and I know it sounds really crazy, but it's a lead-in, because it does what? It elicits curiosity. They're thinking, what? Why? Why are you asking me that question? And so that was a great lead-in back in the day. So we're looking for people. You're looking for people who are better than you, right? We are, and oftentimes when we begin to prospect people, we're looking for people that we want to help. And sometimes people that we want to help could have helped themselves many times over the years, but never really did. So I always affectionately say, sponsor up. And when you're looking for people and finding people, get to know people. They say that your net worth is the sum total of your 5 closest friends. So who are they, right? Who are you hanging out with? So we're going to talk today about inviting. And in that process of inviting, we're really important to have these things. Now, you don't have to have really bright blue scary eyes. Although this does catch attention, doesn't it? Inviting prospects, really, some of the philosophies or some of the things that are very necessary here are belief. You have to have belief in what you're doing, right? Because that transmits and transfers to other people. If you don't believe in what you're doing, no one else will. And you hear me say a lot of times, in my trainings, I'll say, do you think that I believe that the products work, right? Yes, I believe that the products work, right? Do you think that I believe that the system for doing the business works? Absolutely, I do. I've been using the system for years now, and I've been really becoming a student of the student of the process, and I still am, right? I believe that the system works. Do you think that On Account believes that the business of Nerium works, right? Yes, I do. And I have massive belief that I know that I can help you get where you want to go. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about figuring out with people when you're inviting them, not only how to invite, but these things are the basis for inviting, right? Do you have posture? You know, we're going to hear from someone who has gone out there with some posture, and really, although he's been around this business for over a year, he's had, you know, he's learning to have this amazing posture, and some of these things are just clicking for him, and it's going to be kind of fun to hear that, all about that too. Passion. Do you have enthusiasm? And you hear me read all the time from some of the self-development books when it talks about passion and enthusiasm in what you're doing. And you know, if you're new for the first time on this Zoom, or people that you know that are just getting started in this business, if they're really enthusiastic about saying something, it doesn't really matter what you say, because that enthusiasm carries people right along with you. So real important to have the enthusiasm, but none of this matters if you don't get into activity. None of it matters if you don't open your mouth, if you don't actually do the work, if you don't pick up the phone, if you don't do the 5 negotiables, non-negotiables on Facebook, if you don't do some of these things, if you don't, you know, follow our system, if you don't do parties, whether they're Facebook parties live, if they're parties in the home, if you're not doing sit downs on Zoom or sit downs face to face, if you're not doing any of this activity, none of this matters. None of it, because it's about filling that funnel with prospects, and lots of them, with the idea that it doesn't matter whether they join you or not, right? And the reason why that's so important, because it creates a better posture. So when you're all wrapped up in only the 5 people that you have on your list, that's why building the list or finding prospects is so important. If you only have 5 or 6 on your list, then you're feeling pretty blue, right? You know, I've got one that says no. I've just taken up 20% of my list with a no, right? But if you have 191 are still on your list, even if 9 say no, and it doesn't matter, because you have so many more. And it is, you know, I hate that saying, but it is somewhat of a numbers game, right? You have to have people. So the inviting process, and if, you know, if anyone were to ask me, Anna, what is the easiest way to invite? Well, to me, this is it. This is it. If there was one thing that you could get really good at, it would be this: forming people. And it's really true. And when I got started in this business, I used to do a lot of my work on the phone, because I could have a big notepad and I could have notes to myself in questions that I could ask that person. And I would be very intentional. I would stop for a minute and I would think, who is this person I'm about to talk to? What have they been doing recently? I might check them out on Facebook just to see when their last post was, maybe get an idea of some things I could ask them. I would think back to the last time we talked. I would be really intentional about remembering and reminding myself about that particular person. So when we got on the phone, I could care about the person. There must be a great acronym for CARE, because you really do have to care about people and find a commonality, really, when you're talking to them, you know, about family, right? Occupation, recreation, motivation. And so it's so important to care. And you've all heard the saying, you know, nobody really cares what you know until they know how much you care. Whether you're meeting somebody completely cold market, and you might be in that grocery store line and you just happen to strike up a conversation with somebody, asking them what kind of apples they're buying and why, and are they sweet and are they crunchy and whatever, right? Whether you're striking up a conversation like that, or you're talking to somebody you haven't seen in a while, or just a few days ago, right? You're looking for a commonality, and you need to care about them. But in this process of talking about them and about, what they do for a living and, hey, what are you doing for the holiday? Our recreation, right? What are you doing for the holidays? Are you traveling? Are you going to go see your family back east? Are you going to stay home? Are you cleaning out the garage? Are you taking the kids to Disneyland? Are you what? What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Because in this process, you're going to learn so much. You're going to learn about what they might need. We fill a need. The wealthiest people in the world fill a need, right? They solve a problem. They have a solution. And we have a solution for a lot of things, right? We have a solution for boosting the wellness in somebody's body, don't we? We have a solution for helping someone look better, for building their self-confidence. We have a solution, right, for helping somebody get out of debt. It's been a solution that's huge, right? But none of these solutions work for us if we don't use the products, right? Just like if we don't talk to people, the solution for us of getting us out of debt, about changing our life, about, not doing a specific job anymore. I talked to a gal on my team who's a mail carrier, and I can't believe how incredibly exhausted she is. She said, you can tell the holiday season started. We had a couple coaching calls, and she missed one, and she missed it because she was so incredibly busy, and she's exhausted. She's up in the great Northeast. It's absolutely freezing there. She's in and out of that mail truck, and she's tired of it. She said, I have to get out of this mail truck. I have to get out of this job. I can't go another season with a freezing face, freezing hands, and my hands are torn up from all the paper that I deal with. And she has a very, very big why. And you know what? Sometimes we get so tired throughout our normal mundane life that we just go, oh my gosh, I don't feel like calling somebody. I don't want to do something. Guys, this is big. People everywhere are looking for some kind of a solution, and we have it. We have it. I don't know what I would do if somebody didn't take the time to have coffee with me, inform me, right? Ask me, how's my family doing? What's happening with the job that I was working? 50, 60 hours I was working. I was tired, right? And care about me. So this to me is the biggest secret weapon in your business, because you will have a bridge. They will ask you about you if you ask about them. And in this process, listen to what they're saying to you, because those keys, those clues really tell you, how to talk to them, really how to get into them. Because when they ask about you, I always say, come to mama, because now they're interested in you. And then you have a bridge to talk about Nerium. You have a bridge to talk about the products, right? And the scales of influence, many of you have seen this slide before, but it's very, very important because we talk to people in different ways, right? We talk to them based on who they are to us. And what this scales of influence, first time I saw this, I didn't really understand what it meant, but you really are in the middle. You're a 5. Everybody else is a 1 through 10, right? A 1, so a 1 to 5 or a 1 to 4, these would be people who look up to you. And then people that are a 5 to 10 on your scales of influence, those are people that you look up to, right? Those are people that a 10 might be somebody on your quote unquote chicken list, somebody that you are afraid to talk to, right? And I'm going to give you an example of this. When I got started here, you guys know that I worked 2 other network marketing companies prior to this, and I was not ever going to look back with the pain of regret and do what I did for 4 years before I got here. I procrastinated. I had a lot of fear. I was afraid to talk to people. I would make excuses why I was too busy. Oh, I was going to call someone, but I had to go to the dentist instead because the pain of the dentist drill was better than the pain of picking up the phone, because I had a lot of fear. I was worried about what someone would think of me, and I didn't do it. And when I came to Nerium, I thought, you know what, that's it. I am going to talk to my chicken list. I'm going to talk to the biggest, baddest, most influential people I know, and I don't care if they join me or not, but I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through the fear of it and the pain of it. I'm just going to do it. And so I remember calling somebody that was on my chicken list. And his name was Kent, and he had a ton of influence. He knew a lot of people. He he was telling me he knew somebody in Florida. She was a big networker, and I actually called him out of the clear blue, and I just said, he happened to pick up the phone. I said, hey, what are you doing? Listen, I got something. I really want to meet with you for lunch. I don't have a lot of time to talk about it right now, but when is the first opening you have to grab lunch with me? And he said, oh, wow, well, tell me about it. And I said, I don't have time to tell you about it, but let's grab a lunch. I've got Thursday or Friday open. Does either one of those work for you? And he said, yeah, Friday, no problem. So we set up the place to go for lunch. We went and we met, but before we met, I called my sponsor. And I was scared to death. Some of you know me when I got started here, was not the person that I am today. And I remember calling my sponsor and I said, John, listen, guess what? I was so excited, you guys. I was just crawling out of my skin with excitement. Guess what? I called my biggest guy in my chicken list. We got an appointment with them. He says, when is it? I said, Friday. He said, Friday, I can't. He had a corporate job, my business partner, my sponsor. He had a corporate job, and he said, I have a meeting. I have a board meeting. I can't get out of it. And I said, oh my gosh, okay, I don't really care what you have. You got me into this thing. You promised you'd help me. You need to cancel the meeting and you need to be there. But that's how passionate I was. And I never forgot his response. He was quiet for a minute. He let me rant and he said, okay, done. And I remember looking at the phone going, did that really just happen? He's actually going to come with me. But you guys, it was because I got out of my comfort zone. It was because I was willing to call somebody on my chicken list. And it was because of that, and because I was bold enough to say, help me. I need help. You're going to help me, and we're going to do this thing together. So that was a very direct approach, or an indirect approach to somebody that was on my chicken list. Another indirect approach might be, hey, listen, I really need your help. I've got something. I would love you to take a look at it. It would mean the world to me. I did a great call just the other day, and it was an awesome call with, oh my gosh, who was I talking to? I'll think of it in a second, but we were talking to her dad. We were talking to her dad on the phone. I can't believe it's escaping.
Jen Ireland.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it was Jen. Thanks, Caroline. Oh my gosh, Jen. And it was the greatest call, because what she'd done was she had her dad was not on her chicken list, but she had talked to him and his wife over and over again over the last year or so, and they were kind of blowing her off. And so she said to him, hey, listen, I need to do some training. Would you just get on the phone with me? And will you ask a bunch of questions, just kind of hear a story and ask a bunch of questions? And Jen was awesome. All she did was just get us on the phone together. So that's a great example of an indirect approach. A direct approach, I'm going to give you an example of something I did with a very bold and direct approach. And when I first got started, I called a friend of mine, Christine, and she picked up the phone, and I said, Christine, oh my gosh, what are you doing? She said, I'm on the way to work. I've got, a huge day ahead of me. I'm super busy. And I said, listen, I don't have a lot of time right now either. You know what? I need your credit card. I need $1,000. She's like, what? I go, yeah, I need a credit card. I need $1,000 right now. I've got something. It is huge. A week from now, a box is going to show up on your doorstep. And you know what? You are going to be so glad. Don't open it though. When you get it, don't open it. But listen, can you give me your credit card? I need $1,000 right now. She's like, what? Are you kidding me? And I said, no. Just look, I got to go. When you get to the office, text me your credit card. And you guys might think I'm crazy, but I tested all kinds of crazy stuff when I first got started in this business, because I thought, you know what? What do I have to lose? And in that process, I demonstrated to her massive belief. Okay, so these are a couple different examples. Not that you're going to go out and do that with everybody you know, but I had the guts to do it because I wanted this. And I said, you know what? I've got something. You have to be a part of this. And of course, when she got to the office, she didn't text me. But the next morning I called her and I said, hey, what are you doing? You didn't text me your credit card number. What are you thinking? Like, just as though everybody did it, because I had a lot of influence with her. And did I know I was 100% right? No, I didn't. But it turned out I was. right? And so I said, listen, she said, well, what is it? And I said, look, a major breakthrough in anti-aging. We're sitting on a gold mine. This is going to be huge. Come on. I need couple of business partners, and you're one of the first people I thought of. And she said, all right, all right, all right. And she gave me her credit card number. And a week later, that box showed up on her doorstep, and she was freaked out. But it's okay, because then we did a sit down with her, and she was fine after that. And you guys, I'm serious when I tell you, if you have massive belief and you're excited about what you're doing, those people that you have a lot of influence with will join you. They will come along with you. And so don't be afraid to do that. I'm getting the wheel of death here on my computer, so it's not wanting to change screens for me. Let's see. Wow. Let's stop the share, and we'll see if we can go back in and share it again. I got on a roll there. I was on a roll there on that particular slide. Oh, it still doesn't want to open. Well, we might just have to go slideless. Isn't that fun? Okay. Yay. Okay. You guys get to look at me the rest of this. Okay. So in inviting, we have the scales of influence. And so with the scales of influence, you're going to talk to people different ways. So this is a perfect time to say to somebody, listen, I'm helping my team get a trip to Cancun. It is an amazing time. Would you just do me a favor and take a look at some information? If you could just look for some information for me, and you guys take a picture of yourself showing the information so that you're showing them that you have to document. Inviting people to look at information is very simple. Inviting people to try the products is very, very simple. Look, I'm building my database of before and after pictures, right? We've all done that. But what I want to impress upon you the most is using obviously something that's not you talking, using the pictures, right? If I sent you a video, would you take a look at it? If I could, would you? These are all great ways to invite. We all know that. But none of this works if you don't do it. And that's why setting out the power hour of the day, clocking in for your business to do it, and setting time to do it is really, really important. So inviting, I gave you lots of different ways to invite. We invite to parties, right? We invite to Facebook Live. And I want to bring somebody on here that's been really having a lot of success with Facebook. He implemented, we were talking last night, and he was telling me about some of the things that he's implemented from the training last week through using some of the five tips through Facebook, and also through inviting. And George, I know you're here somewhere. I can't see you on this screen, but can you unmute and come on up, come on with us?
Hey,
where are you? Oh, there you are. I see you. Yay. Awesome. So we were talking last night, you and I, and you were telling me about, oh, I love your Christmas tree in the background, by the way. So pretty.
Thank you.
We were talking about you inviting, and we were talking about a couple different things. And one of them was what's been happening with how you've been inviting on your Facebook Live. And I know you've been having a lot of success with that. So maybe you can share something about that with us.
Yeah, I've been doing Facebook Lives with the wife the past couple of weeks, and we actually modeled it after your Profit in the PJs morning. We did Party in the PJs for the evening. So we do like a Facebook Live every week now. And we've been doing really simple invites. We just reach out to people and say, hey, what are you doing Thursday at 7? Are you going to be on Facebook? And the response normally is, I can't be. Why? What's up? And I'm simply after that saying, I'm going to send you an invite. I'm doing a Facebook Live video. I want you to check it out. And it's like, okay. It's that simple. No, nothing else. So then we send them the invite, and then we start the process with the Facebook Live.
Yeah, and you know what? The last one, you had just a ton of people on there. And I know with the Facebook Lives, you also have had a ton of success with getting orders. And I can't remember what you told me, but a couple of weeks ago, your Facebook Live, you'd gotten several customers. So tell me about that.
What we do on the Facebook Live, like my wife actually puts on the eye patches, and we talk about each one of the products really quick. The whole thing is 20 minutes or less. And literally while we're talking about the products and what they do and showing how they work on us, people are texting us what they want to order. So we're like, we have our phone sitting there while we have the computer set up, and we're getting text messages. Oh, I want what your wife has on. I want what your wife was taking. I want this. I want that. So after the Facebook Live, we got to get back to them and start inputting all the orders.
Yeah, you've been doing a really great job with it. But, I think one of the reasons that it's working so well is because you've been super consistent. So I think you're doing them really regularly. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're actually doing them every week now. So initially we were doing them on a Wednesday, then we moved them to a Thursday. So we do them every Thursday, and it's a really consistent thing. So when we talk to somebody and if they say, hey, I'm busy this week, then I say, well, what about next week? Can I talk to you next week? Can you join our event next week? And they say, you know what? I can. I'll put aside some time and I can do it. And the thing that really works is the belief. It's like little things that I overlooked that I now began to realize. If you believe in the product, when you talk to people, your attitude is much different. Like if I know, and I'm gonna just use an example about God because I believe in God. If I know God is God and he does exist, there's nothing you can do or say that makes me feel different. So if you know the product works, there's nothing anybody can do or say that makes you feel different. So you have a different enthusiasm and a different approach about it. Like, I know it works, just check it out. And I deal with a lot of cyclists and they say, hey man, what is this about? Is this about some skin stuff? No, man, this stuff is going to help you ride better. It's going to help you ride faster because we do the wellness also. So I talk about a lot of stuff. I believe in the stuff. And that's what I didn't really exhibit before. I didn't really believe and exude to people that I believed in what the product did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've actually had quite a bit of experience. You've been around for a year. And when I was talking to you last night, you were also talking about working Facebook with the 5 non-negotiables and kind of reaching out to some chickenless people through that process. And I'd love you to share some of that with us too.
Oh yeah, one of the things, like, I'm actually now, I don't know why this just started happening now, but it's clicking. I'm really listening to what you say, to what our leaders are telling us. I was talking with my mentor one time and I was telling her, I'm having a problem with people saying they can't afford ADOs, they can't afford the monthly thing. And my mentor told me, you know what? You need to set some time, get up and go to a different place, go to a different environment and a different atmosphere. And I start doing that. I start doing that in my personal life and in my social media life. So I start reaching up to people that I felt were chickenless, that were on my chicken list, that would never be interested in this type of thing. I would reach up to them, people that have massive 1.5 million followings on Facebook, whole massive 1.3 million followings on Instagram. I start reaching out to them. And if you have the posture that I have something you want, then they will respond. And you have to believe that. And I start doing that and they do respond. And now a couple of people that I've been reaching out to, it's not that every conversation has to be a sale. And for some reason in my mind, I was thinking that if you become their friend, it's much easier to transition them into the business. So that's what I've been working on. Yeah,
I was blown away because George had called and said, or he messaged me and he said, hey, I've got an MMA fighter and he's got this crazy over 1 million following and, I want to get him on a 3-way call. So we kind of coached back and forth and George went back and forth and sure enough, we got him on a 3-way call. And many times that's why I say, really go for the chicken list. Don't be afraid to do that, you guys, because busy, positive, successful people, when you reach out and you build a relationship with them and you ask for some of their time because you have something, successful people became successful because they were open to either building a business of their own or learning about something, or they were open to an investment that made them a lot of money, or they were open to a business of some sort. They were open to something more than once in their life. And so if you approach it right with the right posture, they're open to more, monetary gain if there's something that you have for them. And so, so what's been happening? Bring us up to speed with your MMA fighter and what's been happening with your relationship building there.
Well, for the most part, I mean, we've been talking, I think it's been a little over a week, and now we've got to a place where we're actually texting each other like every day about random stuff. So I've learned to be intentional in the conversations along with the friendship. So I start posing stuff to him that basically shows him how we do the business. So we're shopping for different things. Some things he wants, like for his car, some things he doesn't want. And I turn around and I say, you know what, this is exactly how I do things in general. Like, it's not for everybody. I know you don't want this particular part for your car, but somebody else does. And he begins to understand that. And now he sees, because initially his whole thing was like, no, this is a pyramid. I don't want to be involved in this. I don't have no time. But now it's completely different. It's totally a 180 change. And that's one of the things I learned, because I thought it was always a secret to be able to reach out to these people. And I found out there is a secret really to reaching out to these people. The secret is to be yourself, because I can't be anybody else. I love cars. This guy loves cars. So we found something in common. Be myself. Talk about yourself and that common thing that you have, and you guys will form a bond. So be yourself. That is the secret, which I was trying to figure out what this whole secret sauce is. The secret is to simply be yourself.
You're so awesome. I appreciate you, George. Thanks so much. I'm really excited about talking to his girlfriend next. Her following is even bigger, so we're gonna work on her next. I'm excited, and I'm excited for you. Thank you again for your time, and thanks for kind of sharing from your heart what you've been doing and the secret sauce. I appreciate you. And so I notice we're a little bit over our time here today, guys. I just so appreciate you and all that you do. This is our time really to go out, talk to people, care about people, love on people. We have something everybody wants. And no matter where I go, what living room I'm in, what hall I'm in, what hotel I'm in, no matter where I'm speaking or who I'm talking to on a one-on-one, people everywhere are looking for a solution. And we have 3 or 4 of the biggest solutions out there. So you guys go out there, make it a good day. In all that you do, show up and be fabulous. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Anna.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you,
Thank
Anna.
you, Anna. That was awesome.
Thank you so much, George. Thank you, Anna. It was awesome.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, George. That was fantastic. Cheers.
Thank you,
Thank
Anna.
you, George.
Great job.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks, George.
Thank you.